Hello and welcome to Ivy Times TV. My name is Vincent Balestriere and I'm joined by Abigail Elise, who is our resident video game reporter. Now, Abby, what can you tell us about what happened at CES this week with video games?
This is a big week for gaming at CES. One of the biggest news is that Sony announced PlayStation Now, an upcoming streaming service that will be available on the PS Vita, the PS4. You'll be able to play old PS3 games. You'll also be able to stream it on smartphones, tablets, Sony's brand of TVs, Bravia.
Right, Sony's making a whole bunch of stuff these days. Well, what games did they tease initially? Because I know they had a demo of The Last of Us at CES.
As well as God of War. There weren't that many, and they aren't even sure what games will be available when PlayStation Now launches, which is this summer. So, you know, people were a little skeptical about that, like what will be available when this service comes out. But
right, they're promising that PS3 games that's what their intention is at the beginning, but they're saying depending on how successful it is, maybe they'll do PS2 and PS1 games. It's kind of the MO lately.
Yeah, PS1, going back that far, that would kind of be a big step, you know, that would take some time for them to do that programming.
It's not unheard of, though, considering what Square Enix is doing now with remaking their old games. Hey, if there's demand, we'll do it. And
you can play, you know, old Nintendo games on the Wii U as well. So
yeah, the Wii's been doing that for a while. So can you tell us more about what PlayStation Now actually is, how it works? You know, obviously it's not a free service. So.
Well, they say that there are two options available. You can pay for the entire subscription, or you can pay per game. So it's going to be this library of games that you're going to be able to choose from. And apparently you'll be able to log into your Sony Entertainment Network user ID and password, from anywhere. So the minute you do that,
sort of like a Google ID or an Apple ID, and just access your stuff from the cloud. And isn't actually that how the whole thing works? You're not downloading the game; it's all being played and hosted somewhere else. You're just getting the images.
It's cloud-based, so once you log in, you'll just be able to have all your information right there. They also say that the updates will occur automatically. You'll have the newest version of the game. So.
But speaking of new ideas, the other big story that comes out of CES for us is all the Steam boxes.
Yeah, the Steam machines. I think there are 14 of them.
Right. There were originally 13, I think, when
or 12.
When they talked about. I think Gabe officially talked about 13 of them, but there was an update today saying there's a 14th one, very quiet. It's like the size of a sandwich.
Right. I'm not really into PC gaming. A lot of people are really excited about them. They teamed up with all these different companies to create different machines that are sort of catered to different people.
Right, and Steam's the biggest community that they're talking about. Oh, we have 65 million people in the Steam community.
And there's a lot of games available. I mean, Valve had sent out some prototypes of the boxes at the end of December to 300 testers, just beta versions. So. Yeah, it's really interesting. Again, I don't do much PC gaming.
Yeah, it's a big deal though. I mean, you know, you could go buy a PS4 or an Xbox or a Wii, whatever, for $300 to $500. And that would be the low end for the Steam boxes. You know, the cheap ones that we know the pricing so far. I mean, maybe that new one could be $400.
The iBuyPower one is, I believe, starting at $5.
I think there's one or two of them that are $499.
Right.
Nearest makes no difference. They're $500.
Right.
And that's what you would pay for an Xbox One.
Right.
Or you can get one I think starts at like $1,700, but can be customized all the way up to $6,000.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's like Mac Pro territory.
Right. Right. Yeah, but that's a little ridiculous.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to compete against Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Obviously, that's their main competitors.
Right. Well, it's kind of toward a more high-end customer, and some of the companies that they were joining with to create these machines were high-end machines. I mean, you have like Alienware that's kind of in the middle that can be for casual PC gamers, and then you have the brands that are for people who really spend a lot of time gaming on their PC. They don't use consoles. That's really important to them.
But then the argument from that camp tends to be, well, why wouldn't I just continue to use my PC?
That's true.
You know, why am I gonna spend about $1,000 on a new machine that, as of yet, doesn't run as many games as Windows PCs?
That's true.
So it's going to be an uphill battle for Valve, I think, but we'll see what happens.
Right. And then also China lifted its ban on the consoles this week.
That's true. And some of the companies jumped up in stock right after, like Nintendo, for example.
Right.
They went.
It was 14 years, I believe, that consoles were banned.
Around that.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a long time. I wasn't even aware that there was an official ban.
Right, right.
Like
yeah, Ubisoft stock went up as well.
yeah, it's strange considering they're just a developer. Why would their stock go up? But,
Right.
you know, well, we'll see what happens if they get a Wii U or if they get the PS4. Maybe around the same time or after Japan finally gets the PS4.
Right.
Okay, well, it looks like that's all we have time for. Thanks for coming on and talking with us, Abby.
Thank you for having me.